Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex.
And I'm Jay.
And we got some news updates for you from around the land of smiles this Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, June 25th. Now, before we begin, please remember to subscribe to the Tiger to stay up to date on all things Thailand. Today, we'll be talking about Thailand's plans to restrict cannabis to medical use only. Boo! Cambodia criticizing Thailand for allegedly copying Angkor Wat in a temple design. And a little later, a Taiwanese woman detained in China after testing positive for cannabis use. We're talking cannabis today. Before we dive into it, though, Jay, can we hear a word from our sponsor?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever thought about buying a property, look no further than Fazwaz.com, the largest real estate portal in the country.
Yeah, that's Fazwaz up in the corner over there. And you might want to check out the series that we've been doing, the Fazwaz Vox Pops. We've been having a lot of fun over on Instagram and TikTok, going around asking people about living in Thailand, and people got some fun stories, I gotta say.
Thank you for making the show happen. And the viewers watching us, and the what's the word? Subscribers.
The subscribers, too. You know, I'll do my comedy plugs later. Let's just dive into it. We'll do it after the next Fazwaz break. All right, our first story is the big story everybody's talking about here in the kingdom. Thailand is set to reclassify cannabis and restrict its use to medical only. I can already hear people screaming at the screen right now. Thailand's public health minister, Somsak Thepsutin, has signed an order restricting cannabis use to medical purposes only. Buyers will soon need a doctor's prescription and medical certificate to access cannabis. A grace period will be granted before enforcement begins. Cannabis will be reclassified as a narcotic. Come on. Reversing previous liberalization that allowed widespread retail and cultivation. New shop licenses will require an on-site medical professional and face monthly inspections, with repeat offenders losing licenses. Somsak dismissed the Bumjai Thai's party's push for a broader cannabis control bill as unlikely to pass. He insisted the crackdown isn't political, but a response to poor past regulation.
There we go. Hashtag flip-flops.
Flip-flops indeed.
But look, every big company is going to have a medical professional in their vicinity.
Yeah.
Where you can just go and get a prescription because you're suffering from, enter glaucoma or whatever.
Yeah.
And then get your prescription. There we go.
Sure, but it's like this is like one of those things where it's an unnecessary step. It's like, everywhere where cannabis was medical first and then became recreational, it was the medical phase was a joke. Yeah. Everybody was getting like fake doctor's notes, like, oh, I can't sleep, or I sleep too much. I don't know. You could say anything and they'll give you the note. And then when they go recreational, there's no problems.
The fact that it's now going to be a narcotic and you get caught with it and you don't have a prescription, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Right. Just like Thailand's prison system isn't already overextended and overused. So I don't know. I'm very annoyed with this policy. I know that most of the people who are watching this are probably not going to be supporting that move. Yeah. But it's apparently on the way. So
it's happening.
It's still unclear what the timeline is. What is the grace period? What do we? How do we get the medical licenses? None of this is clear yet. So we'll keep our eye on it and keep you posted.
All right. Moving on to our next story. UN presses Thailand over human trafficking tied to regional scam syndicates. The United Nations has formally demanded answers from Thailand over its role in cross-border human trafficking linked to online scam operations. In a letter dated March 10th, UN special reporters flagged concerns that scam centers allegedly operating across Thailand and neighboring countries are exploiting global victims through forced labor, financial fraud, and abuse. Victims are lured with fake job offers, then detained, abused, and even sold. The UN criticized Thailand's failure to identify victims as trafficking survivors, often treating them as criminals instead. Thailand is also accused of enabling such centers by providing infrastructure and acting as a transit hub. The letter urges Thailand to clarify its stance and outline actions taken to protect victims and stop complicity.
Yeah, this is one of those weird gray areas where a lot of the people that are working for the scam centers are victims of human trafficking themselves. So they're doing crimes, but they're doing crimes on behalf of nefarious organizations that have coerced them into those situations. So I think that's what the UN is talking about right now, is recognizing that a lot of these people had no choice than to do what they were doing and to recognize that fact rather than imprisoning them for being victims themselves. We'll see. It is an increasing issue here. The targets are all over the world, and the scam centers are operating not just here in Thailand, but across all over Southeast Asia And many of these operators are coming. The ringleaders are operating from places like China or further away,
Cambodia even.
right? So
Dare I say that word?
wherever their operation is, they are not, and that keeps them from being actually held accountable. So this is a big issue, and we need to see more cooperation amongst the nations that it's affecting. All right, our next story, we got one interesting one. So I don't know if anybody knows about the right to choose here in Thailand when it comes to a woman's body, I guess. If you're pro-life, pro-choice, well, there's an update on the policies here in the kingdom. Thailand is granting free access to safe abortions for insured citizens under an expanded healthcare policy. Thailand's Social Security Office has expanded healthcare coverage to include safe abortion services for insured citizens, treating it as a medical benefit. Announced on June 23rd, the policy allows individuals to access abortions legally and without cost through registered health facilities or referrals. This follows Article 305 of the Penal Code, enabling medical professionals to provide abortions under regulated conditions. The initiative is backed by the National Health Security Office's preventative care budget and applies to both Thai citizens and insured foreigners. The move represents a major step forward in reproductive healthcare access and women's rights in Thailand.
Hey, at least it's being done properly.
Yeah, I mean, what happens when this stuff is outlawed is people find ways to do it that are just not safe.
Yeah, especially in Thailand.
Yeah, it's been a major issue in the past. Glad to see it's being addressed head on. It is a major reversal, though.
Yeah.
It's never really been allowed here before. There are other ways that Thailand takes precautions, right? Like birth control is very easily accessible.
Yes.
More accessible than in America.
A lot more affordable, too.
Yeah. But not always a 100% solution. So interesting to see this. There has been a lot of, single mom epidemic. Is a big thing here in Thailand.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Southeast Asian countries as well. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
More rights for women in Thailand. All right, we're going to move on. Hold on one sec. Guys, I love you.
Stop mumbling.
Tan, I love you, but I can't focus. That's okay. It's live. What are we going to do?
It's fine.
Our next story. Thai man surrenders after assaulting 2 gay men in unprovoked attack. Right. A Thai man known as Joe turned himself in on June the 23rd after assaulting 2 gay men, Frank and Moo, at an entertainment venue in Sakhon Nakhon. The attack, unprovoked and caught on video, went viral after being posted online, sparking public outrage. Joe reportedly redirected his aggression from a rival group to the victims, punching both without warning. The victims were hospitalized and later filed a police report, and despite Joe's surrender, authorities have yet to announce formal charges. He could face up to 2 years in prison under the Thai assault laws. Social media users also allege Joe has a history of similar violent incidents. Angry guy just taking his anger out on 2 bystanders who happen to be gay?
Nothing to do with anything, right? He might not even know they were gay, but in Pride Month of all months, how dare you?
True.
And this is what we call in Australia. They used to call it the coward's punch or the king hit.
Yeah, and let's just take a moment. Like, even if you are an aggressor, you're not. If you see like 2 giant bodybuilders, you're probably not going to attack them. But if you see 2 people who look a bit vulnerable to you, and I just want to take my aggression out, so you probably thought about it and they did it.
Super scumbag move, though.
Yeah.
Dude. There's plenty of ways to get your aggression out. We're in the land of Muay Thai, for God's sake. Just go and step in the ring and pick on someone your own size, but especially someone who's maybe facing you and ready for whatever you're doing. So 2 years in jail for this, hopefully they do throw the book at him because it's not his first incident. Apparently everybody's pointing out he's been doing this for a while now. So bad guy Joe.
All right.
All right. Well, on to our next story. Everybody's always asking us to do the weather a little bit more, so here you go. Torrential rains have triggered flash floods and storm alerts in our favorite city, Pattaya.
Love me some Pats.
Pattaya was hit by a severe rainfall overnight on June 23rd, leading to flash floods, traffic chaos, and disrupted tourism. Not that. The Thai Meteorological Department has issued storm warnings for the eastern region, citing risks of mudslides and flooding in low-lying areas. The heavy rain, part of a strengthening monsoon system, has affected key roads like Sukhumvit and central Pattaya and halted beachside activity. Similar conditions are expected in nearby provinces and Bangkok, not here. The TMD warns the weather pattern will persist for several days, urging residents, travelers, and boaters to take precautions and avoid high-risk areas.
Taking Wet and Wild to a whole new level, Pattaya.
Oof. Good God. Now,
Just saying.
it's coming for us now, too, apparently.
Yeah.
Get your rain
sooner
boots
or
out.
later, bro. It's
Yeah,
coming.
there's no way. It's that time of year.
We have interns in the office. I don't know which one asked me, like, does it ever start flooding? And I was like, just you wait, young one.
I can see them getting swept away. Like,
Just you
help. And we're
wait,
like, no, get back here.
Yeah,
But-
one Kate on will go missing. We know it.
Oh,
We can only
God.
take precautions. We can only guide her to what,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Her biggest concerns in Thailand are strong winds and flash floods. Kate, where are you going? No, Kate, come back.
We took her kite flying in the park the other day and took us 5 hours to find her. So
That is true. That is true. Some say you can still hear her voices.
help. All right.
Moving on to our last story from across Thailand.
Right.
Over 500 joined Pattaya Beach cleanup to boost safety and tourism. Hey, some great news coming out of Pattaya. Over 500 volunteers led by Pattaya Mayor Poramit took part in a large-scale beach cleanup on June the 24th to restore Pattaya Beach and ensure tourist safety. Clean beaches for all in Pattaya. Backed by city officials, tourism groups, and local associations, the effort targeted key areas like Dusit Curve and South Pattaya Beach. The cleanup addressed hazardous waste such as plastics and broken glass that accumulate during low tide. The event marked a strong public-private partnership and reinforced community responsibility for the beach's upkeep. Pattaya City plans to make such cleanups a regular initiative so that they have world-class tourist destination. There we go. Pattaya, Pattaya, Pattaya. Well done.
Yay. Yeah. I like seeing these beach cleanup efforts. I shout out to my mom, who I'm sure is watching this. She does this everywhere she goes. She takes little trash bags with her and tries to leave it a little bit cleaner than what she
Not
saw
all
it.
heroes wear capes. Hashtag Mama Watson.
Yes.
We love you. We need more people like you.
For sure. And they're trying to roll these out all over Thailand now too, to clean things up a bit, because it is becoming an issue. A lot of plastic waste out there that make it into the oceans. We're kind of big perpetrators of it here in Thailand. I gotta say, we do use a lot of single-use plastic. If you've been anywhere near a 7-Eleven, you know what that's like. So it's nice to know that there are efforts in place to try and offset some of that damage. Just make sure you dispose of your stuff properly, people. We won't have to do this all the time. All right, well, that'll do it for our Thailand section of the news. Let's hear a quick word from our sponsor before we move on to the ASEAN section.
Whoa, and we're back. Woo!
Thank you, Faz.
That was a good one.
Needed that break. All right, I also need to do a couple of plugs, Jay, if you don't mind.
Of course. Alex
I love you.
damages Latour.
Yeah, we'll be fine. I got stuff going on, people, and the first thing you need to know about is next July 4th, we're doing Bangkok Nightlife, baby. Stand-up comedy freedom special here at the Siam Design Hotel, hosted by yours truly, a real-life bona fide American. So yeah, that's not the only thing, guys. We'll also be going the next day, the very next day, with a similar show. A little bit of a mix-up in the lineup with a very professional comedian coming out of LA. We're doing Pattaya Night Live, yet another stand-up comedy freedom special. It's also Canada Day, or Canada what? Canada Day. It's Canada Day.
Is Daniel from Canada?
Canada Day. No, Greg Anderson is though. So we made sure to have.
That's what I was saying. Your earlier one, it had like American flag on it.
Yeah.
But then it was Greg Anderson, who's a Canadian, Jock Mackay, who's from Scotland, and then I guess Daniel's from America.
Daniel and Mike, the other two guys, are both Americans. So
All right.
we can't be all USA. It's Canada weekend too, so we got them in.
Say that to the Americans. You can't be all USA.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, 51st state coming in hot. All right, yay, we're coming for you.
USA.
All right, cool.
USA.
Sad that a photo of Alex is not there. You see enough of me, Mandalik. That's okay. All right. Okay. We gotta move on. We're heading into the ASEAN Now section, where unfortunately we gotta have some bad news first. So this is a story that we've been following for the past few days out of Indonesia after a Brazilian tourist fell down Mount Rinjani during a hike. Unfortunately, that tourist has now been found dead. Juliana Marins, a 26-year-old Brazilian tourist, was found dead days after falling from a cliff near the crater of Mount Rinjani in Indonesia. Despite surviving the initial fall during a group hike on June 21st, Poor weather and hazardous terrain delayed rescue efforts. Drone footage had shown her alive on Saturday, but she later disappeared from view, likely falling further. Her body was finally located on June 25th after a 600-meter descent by rescuers. The recovery is ongoing due to bad weather. Marins had been backpacking across Southeast Asia, and her family has questioned why the trail remained open after her fall. A tragic end to this story. A lot of complaints are coming out from the family and people that have been, following the story closely. Why did it take so long? Like, I know safety conditions, things like that, but there's some criticisms.
600 meters down as well.
It is, but...
It's a volcano.
Yeah, it is a volcano, but, she was spotted.
Yeah. See, it's a tragedy, unfortunately, she lost her life as well, and questions are going to be raised as in why this wasn't done and that wasn't done, but... I mean, it shouldn't have happened in the first place, right?
You'd like to believe that everybody was doing what they were supposed to do and trying to get there in time, and that this is just... The thing is, like, I don't know, it's not like she, in a movie, you fall into a volcano and then you're done. She was there for days, so it's most likely dehydration or exposure or something like that might have been a terrible way to go. So, and then the trail's still open, too, which is a little...
Yeah, that's a bit...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously, hike at your own risk. The whole world can be dangerous.
How can we keep the trail open? It's like, hey guys, be careful. Someone fell down there, so just stay to the right.
Look, I don't know. I'm a little libertarian here because that could happen anywhere, right? Like if you go to the Grand Canyon, you could just fall off if you're not paying attention. So I don't know. It's just an unfortunate incident that has come to a close in the wrong way.
Yeah. Anyways, our thoughts and prayers go out to their family. Our next story takes us to Cambodia as Cambodia condemns Thai temple for allegedly copying Angkor Wat design. In temple wars, Cambodia's Ministry of Culture has officially condemned Thailand's Wat Pu Man Pha in Buriram for allegedly imitating the design of Angkor Wat, calling it a violation of Khmer cultural identity and UNESCO heritage ethics. The temple features architecture inspired by ancient Khmer art, which Cambodia argues undermines Angkor Wat's authenticity. Thai officials and the temple's abbot deny any intent to copy, citing Buddhist symbolism and shared regional heritage. The dispute has sparked heated online debates in both nations, with Cambodians calling for UNESCO involvement and some Thais dismissing the backlash as political. Not great for the relationships.
I don't know. They're finding any excuse to sort of like pick fights with each other.
This
now.
is also, I think, not the first time. They'd complained a couple of months back or last year. I feel like this is a repeat of an old story.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, it's bubbling up right now, the tensions between the two countries for whatever reasons. I don't want to dive too far into it because we've talked about it a lot, but I don't know. Angkor Wat, we're in the neighborhood. There's a lot of shared heritage here, both Buddhism, right? I feel that it's kind of fair game, but at the same time... Right? You want to live in Taiwan? Sorry, White Lotus references. I don't know. Let us know your thoughts, guys. This is okay or not. I don't know.
Who started it, we don't know. But I remember it was last year where Cambodia was hosting the Southeast Asia Games, and then they decided to rename the sport of Muay Thai as Kun Khmer because allegedly they started the sport.
Oh, I haven't heard about this.
The Thai Muay Thai fighters refused to fight, and then Cambodia and Thailand, why can't we all just get along?
It's over the pettiest little things too. Things that should be like shared culture and heritage.
Two things that are very important to each country. I mean, each country is trying to say that we've got better temples and we created Muay Thai. I mean, the word literally has Muay Thai in it.
Not in Cambodia.
Yeah, not in Cambodia. Cambodia.
I don't know. It seems like areas where there should be shared culture and we should be celebrating each other, right? Like when Americans and Canadians play hockey, you know?
The argument is basically over we're more Buddhist than you, and we're more badass than you in fighting, I guess.
Those seem to be contradictory, don't they?
True.
Not normally how those go together.
Oh well.
All right. Well, anyways, on to our next story. It's been a fear of mine, I gotta tell you, when it comes to international travel, and it is, Well, let's just dive into it. Sorry. A Taiwanese woman was detained in Shanghai after testing positive for cannabis after a Thailand visit. Taiwanese woman was detained for 4 days in Shanghai after testing positive for cannabis, which she claims resulted from drinking a cannabis-infused beverage legally in Thailand. Posting under the name Nan Chu, she said she was unaware it could lead to legal trouble in China. Another individual reported a similar experience after testing positive for a prescribed painkiller. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council confirmed it's looking into the cases. Chinese authorities have reportedly tightened drug testing on travelers from Thailand, warning that positive tests, regardless of legality abroad, can result in detention. Well, another reason not to go to China. No thanks. Sorry. I hate when countries do this. They're not the only country doing this. China's doing this. I've heard of South Korea doing this. Singapore. When I fly into Singapore, right, I'm flying in. I'm in the cannabis scene here, okay? So I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
They're like, over the airport announcements, they say, hey, welcome to Singapore, man. You're going to have a great time here. We got great food. We got lots of sights to see. And by the way, if you have any cannabis on you, you will die. We will kill you. I'm like, oh, cool.
Straightforward.
Thanks. It's like the last thing that they tell you right
Just
after all the
eat it.
nice things that they say.
Eat the bag.
Yeah, so I think this might be affecting why Thailand is now trying to reclassify or restructure the way that they're doing cannabis, because all of the neighbors around them are being super uncool about it. And they're only targeting people who are flying in and out of Thailand. So this might be affecting tourism that way, right? Like a lot of people will be like, well, I don't want to risk it. I know people from Singapore who come here. You know, I do my shows in cannabis dispensaries. They sometimes some of them refuse to even set foot in the place because they're so afraid of what their government will do to them. So, ew to all of you. Shame. Get with the 21st century.
Yeah. All right.
My 2 cents.
Our last story from around the ASEAN area: Malaysia backs Iran's right to self-defense, urges diplomatic solution to conflict. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim affirmed Iran's right to self-defense amid its conflict with Israel following a call with Iranian President Masoud. While Malaysia opposes violence, Anwar condemned Israel's attacks on Gaza and Iran and criticized global double standards. Iran expressed willingness to halt strikes if Israel ceases its aggression, asking Malaysia to convey their message to other Muslim nations. Anwar emphasized diplomacy as the only path to peace. The ceasefire brokered by the U.S. is now in place, with Israel warning of retaliation if violated. Iran has signaled it will hold fire if Israel does the same.
Yeah, cool. I guess. I don't know. I don't think anybody was really saying that, Iran doesn't have the right to retaliate because, I mean, if your country is getting bombed and you have bombs, then you probably throw those
like
bombs.
Iran has a few.
Yeah, and some of them made it through.
Israel has a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a good time to really be living in either of those and not knowing whether missiles are going to be flying at you.
Sure.
But apparently the 12 days war is over now.
Yeah.
Temporarily. But again, this all boils back to Iran has been arming like Hamas and Hezbollah for a long time. That's why the Israelis are like, you know what? Let's just get to the heart of it, get to the source, start lobbing some missiles at Tehran, and maybe eyeball a little bit of regime change as the Shah Pahlavi has been coming out and saying, hey, I'm ready to go. You want to get that Ayatollah out of there? I don't know. I think it's interesting to see how everybody's on eggshells with this situation. There was divides in the MAGA world on the right wing side of American politics, as emphasized by the Ted Cruz Tucker Carlson interview that was very contentious about whether or not America should be involved in the situation. I think most people can be happy though that it was a pretty quick involvement, and now hopefully that's the end of it. But it still seems like it's a volatile situation, and we're just gonna keep our eye on it and everybody, and hope for the best, I guess. All right. Yeah. Anyways, that'll do it for the news. Shall we wrap it up?
That'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, those are some of the stories from across Thailand today. You can find more stories on thetiger.com, or you can get into the conversation at
ASEANnow.com.
That's Thailand's largest news forum.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe here. Click that little join button next to the subscribed button that you've already pressed.
Yes, sir.
And maybe you can become a member and enjoy all sorts of benefits like cute emojis, visits to the studio.
Green highlight on the live chat.
Yeah, we'll pay more attention to what you're saying in the live chat.
Yeah.
Because we have to support the people supporting us. What else? You get to visit the studio, hang out with us.
Yeah,
all
you get
sorts
a
of
free
fun stuff.
T-shirt. You get mugs and merch.
Swag bags when you come and visit us.
Swag.
And don't forget to follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you get your social media fix. You'll see a lot of content that you don't see here on the YouTube channel.
If you like that story, please like and subscribe. And for more Thailand news, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok at The Thaiger, or you can go to thethaiger.com and join the conversation.